What is up everyone, and welcome back to some more Formula 1 2020. I am a little bit more upbeat in this video. It's because it's the first one I'm recording since our man, our fourth place in this championship, fourth place in the real life championship man, Sergio Perez won his first ever Grand Prix. What a crazy race was the Sakhir Grand Prix. I was obviously devastated for George Russell, really wanted to see him do well. I'm a Brit myself, so, you know, really wanted to see what he could do in good machinery. But as a big fan of Sergio Perez, I was really glad to see him pick up his maiden win in Formula 1 as well. And without further ado, let's try and repeat that feat at the Netherlands Grand Prix in Formula 1 2020 championship mode. Struggling a bit to get my words out there. I'm still riding the high. I mean, it was yesterday in my life. Recording this on Monday. Obviously, it's coming out on Wednesday. But yeah, super gassed for the man himself, Sergio Perez, and the astoundingly good job he did to bring that car across the line, especially given that he went to the back in lap 1. People saying he did the real life lost the first challenge. But one thing is for certain, that man deserves a seat for 2021. Red Bull, what are you doing? Enough about that, and it is time to get into qualifying, one-shot qualifying for the Dutch Grand Prix, Zandvoort. It's actually quite a nice circuit. It took me a while to warm up to it. There's still a couple corners I'm notoriously bad at navigating on this circuit, but hopefully it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Get my Netherlands setup out. Just check that the weather's going to be dry tomorrow. Yep, it's going to be overcast, but will be dry, so we'll go with the dry setup. Let's see if we can get pole. That's what I'm going for here. Pole position. That's my goal. I don't think Sergio Perez has ever been on pole. I'm not 100% confident in that claim. I mean, obviously I've been on pole in the game, but in real life, I know obviously he's won now, but I don't know if he's ever had a pole position. That was where his longtime teammate Nico Hulkenberg actually did have the upper hand on him, because he obviously got the one pole. I believe it was Brazil 2010, but obviously couldn't convert that into a maiden podium, and couldn't convert that into a maiden podium for many years to come. But you know, there's always the potential for another opportunity for Nico Hulkenberg. Who knows whether he'll be out of the sport for good, or whether he might come back in the future. I'm a big Hulkenberg fan myself, actually. I was gutted to see him drop by Renault at the end of last season. Bottled that corner completely there. That's going to cost me pole position, most likely. See if I can get P3. Start on the clean side of the grid. Nope, it's P4 probably. And that's like an out drag. What I can only assume is Max Verstappen. No. So Hamilton gets pole, and it's P4 for Sergio Perez. I do want to see where Verstappen is here, because he is the current championship leader by quite a substantial margin. Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas quite close together. Then it's me. And I'm not going down without a fight. So we'll skip through this and we'll see.
Let's review our top three today. Hamilton, Bottas, and Max Verstappen. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Let's go Lance Stroll. P5. Pretty good effort from him. Raising his game to my level, apparently. And yeah, no, really strong effort from Lance Stroll. That's kind of the first time he's been close to me all season. Yeah, really encouraging signs. Hopefully we can score a lot of points in the race tomorrow, and let's get things underway. Obviously Lance Stroll finished on the podium this weekend, just been as well. Came P3, said he probably could have got P1 if he hadn't have mucked up the safety car restart. I don't quite know about that, but I definitely think he had a legitimate shot, and it was a deserved podium. He drove a good race, as did Esteban Ocon, but you know, I don't really care about him. But you know, I'll give him his due. So yeah, P4, P5 for Racing Point. Obviously, I'm looking to take the car forward as much as I can. Hopefully, convert this into a win. If I can get off the line well, then who knows what might happen.
Preparations on the grid are wrapping up as we brace ourselves for the start of today's big race.
Got anything else to say, Crofty?
14
Okay.
corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout a 2.6-mile lap. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Lance Stroll, and Vettel, Leclerc, Albon, Ricciardo, and Lando Norris. Sainz, Gasly, Daniel Kvyat, and Ocon. Raikkonen, Latifi, Antonio Giovinazzi, and George Russell. Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Felt like a bit of an indirect from Anthony Davidson there with the whole just because a gap exists doesn't mean you should go for it comment, but you know, I brush it off. I'm going for that turn 1 dive bomb. I don't care what you say. How's your Formula 1 career going, Anthony Davidson? Anyway, enough of the shit talk. Now it's time to do the track talk. That was kind of cringe. Ooh, Verstappen. What a beautiful start from him. Can't convert it though. Second phase, I've just been supreme in. Probably because I've got automatic gearing. Was worried I was going to get pinched by Verstappen and Bottas there. Or pinched, I should say. Pinced. One of the two. So yeah. Oh, Lance Stroll came up my inside a bit there, and or around my outside rather, and it caught me a little bit by surprise. He's feeling racy today. Nearly made me run into the back of Bottas because I was too busy focused on defending from Stroll. Didn't even think about what was in front of me. That was a horrible corner, and Lance Stroll's got ahead of me. That was not good at all. That was yeah, pretty bad start by my standards. You know, 1 position lost to my teammate though, not the end of the world. Same points for the team. See if Stroll can get ahead and attack the front 3 perhaps. See if he can get his next podium. I guess because this is the 2020 season technically, it would be his second podium in this universe. But obviously he's had 3 podiums in real life at this point now, after the Sakir Grand Prix this past weekend. I keep talking about that, but you know, it was a very good weekend for the Pink Panthers, the Tracing Points, the Pink Mercedes, whatever you call them. Not a good corner there from Lance Stroll. Decides to park it in the middle of the apex, and I have to take evasive action because I don't know, I'm braking late. Try and go around the outside here maybe? Nah, Stroll's a bit too quick for that. See if I can get him out here. Now I feel like that's a very dangerous position to try and overtake, because if you mess that up you're ruining both of your races. That would be like an Alexander Albon started in 12th and needs to make up positions quickly tier overtake if I'd have pulled that off. Speaking of Albon, he's in 8th at the moment, you know. I'm in 5th, just saying. really just stuck to the back of Stroll at the moment. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I've got more pace than him, but I don't feel like I'm getting ahead of him. And I don't feel like the Ferraris behind are in danger of getting ahead of us. And meanwhile, the front three are just pulling away. Hamilton in front, very closely followed by Verstappen and Bottas. And if I want to challenge these guys, I really have to clear Stroll quite quickly if I want any chance of getting on the podium today, which I do, especially after Shanghai. I'm eager to prove I've got what it takes to actually hold a clean race. You know, I've had three kind of shocking races in a row at this point. I know obviously Vietnam didn't end too much in tears. I still managed to take P4 away from that, but it was touch and go, and you know, I was still disappointed with the quality of my racecraft in that one, regardless of whether it, you know, ended in tears or ended in dreams. So I got DRS on Stroll now, so this should hopefully help me start getting back on him. I need to drive pretty much flawlessly here, because as soon as I make a mistake, I've got Vettel and Leclerc all over the back of me, ready to take a couple of positions away from me. Yeah, I won't be close enough to attack Lance Stroll here, but I just need to try and stay with him, because I think he actually made up time on me on that last lap. And I don't want him pulling away, because that's probably what's gonna make it guaranteed I'm not going to get P4. If he starts pulling away, then I don't think I'll be able to catch back up to him. If he breaks this DRS, then he's pretty much guaranteed P4, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. Which, you know, when you're under pressure from your vastly experienced teammate and you've got a lot to prove, because people say you're just a pay driver, but you know that's not true. You know, I would be feeling the pressure right about now. You know, you've got a good opportunity to prove that you're you're not always the second driver. Sometimes you can make the moves you need to. And a P4 would be a very respectable result, especially with Bottas, Hamilton and Verstappen still in the race. That's effectively this season's equivalent of best of the rest, I'd say. Like, if you can finish P4, that's sort of what I'd consider to be best of the rest nowadays, because I don't know. I don't think Albon is like anywhere near them really. So I think anywhere like around P4 is probably like your best bet. And if you get on the podium, then you've done a really good job. Obviously, been a couple of crazy races where we haven't had any of the three front runners on the podium, such as Monza and then Sakira at the weekend, as I keep alluding to. Obviously Hamilton was out of that one as well, and yeah, apparently Toto Wolff was confirmed. I'm sure by the time this video comes up, we'll know even more. Toto Wolff has confirmed that if Hamilton does test positive for COVID-19 again, George Russell will be taking a spot again, and I really do think he deserves a chance to run it back after this past weekend. So I think it would be a shame if he's, you know, kicked back down to that Williams. So yeah, still just can't get past Lance Stroll. I'm having a bit of a mare here. I'm a lot closer this time, but still, like, I'm just not really close enough to even think about challenging him.
Some information on Albon. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
That's rough for Alex Albon. Maybe if he retires, it will force a safety car, and then that really brings me and Stroll back into the race if we can capitalise on the restart, perhaps get a position on Bottas, or, you know, maybe I could even start cutting my way through the field. I don't know, I had a really good start, but then I had to back out because I was just really in danger of getting squeezed. If I'd committed to the move, I was worried it was just going to be, you know, me maintaining my reputation as driving too dangerously. I'm very good at spinning on some of the inside curbs here. I've done it a lot when I've done online racing here. You know, I've been running in sort of like P2, P3, and then spun on one of the curbs and dropped down to like P6. So I'm very cognizant of the fact that that could happen, and I'm trying to avoid it, which is why you might see me being a bit sort of conservative around some of these corners, not taking as much curbs as you would expect. I just really don't want to drop it.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Stroll had a very good run out of that corner, so even with DRS he was, you know, just completely covering me off in terms of speed. See if I can go for an outside move here, perhaps. Nah, again, the inside line proves too strong. Gives me a little bit of a run on him, because obviously I've got slightly more track to work with from the beginning. Take a bit too deep of a corner there. Pretty good run there. I'm all over the back of him now, but you know, I've got to stick with him. If I can, I don't know who's scheduled to be pitting first, but if it's me, there's a chance I could probably undercut him with a good pit stop. I think that's probably my best bet at this point, honestly, just because of how difficult he is proving to overtake. I'm giving it everything. I haven't even been looking at my fuel or anything, but fuel looks good. I guess I could bump it up into rich down here. But no, I didn't even think about using a bit more of my excess fuel. It literally didn't even occur to me. But yeah, I just need to stay with him to make sure I can successfully pull off the undercut. I don't know if I should maybe even try pitting a lap early. I don't think there's much point in that, because usually most people pit around the same time. And because I qualified out in front, there's a good chance I might have pit stop preference. Because this game's not really smart enough to do the switcheroo strategy where it just pits the driver in front, like you might see in real life. Oh, I'm all over the back of him. This is agonizing. Alright, here we go.
We're going to box this lap. Push hard on the in-lap.
Nah, he defended to the inside. I should have gone... Oh, defended to the outside, rather. I should have gone to the inside. And that's what cost me there, unfortunately. I thought maybe he'd move over and let me have the inside, go for a Callum Ilott type move. If you guys watched the F2 finale this weekend, I was really hoping Ilott would pull something quite spectacular off, but in the end, obviously, it was not meant to be. But he, of course, got his championship rival Mick Schumacher by dipping a few wheels off of the track. But you know, it was a good move.
Need to worry about tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Well, that's reassuring since I'm pitting in 10 seconds. Lance Stroll locks up and I nearly go straight into the back of him. So it looks like I am indeed getting pit stop preference. Hamilton has pitted. And we're in.
Exit now. You'll be racing as you leave the
Alright,
pits.
3
Exit.
seconds. That's
Exit
not
now.
great, but if I have a really good outlap,
No more scheduled pit stops.
then there is a really good chance I could catch Stroll or overtake Stroll. Looks like I've come out in a pretty good position as well, conveniently right between sort of the midfield runners of like, I think that's Gasly and Albon. Oh yeah, he had the problem, didn't he? And then Raikkonen in the back marker behind me. Feels weird describing Kimi Raikkonen as a back marker. But, you know, such is the nature of that Alfa Romeo car this year, unfortunately. Real shame. But we could talk about that forever. So I just need to push really hard on this lap to see if I can jump Stroll. But because the tyres are still doing quite well, there's a very good chance he might actually jump me. So he's in the pits now. I'm rounding the final corner, but the pit stops are quite quick on this track. Let's see, where is he? He's exiting now. Oh, this is going to be so close. Also, it looks like Vettel jumped Stroll in the pits. Yeah, I've actually got both of them. Albon's yet to pit. Bottas went onto the hards for some reason. Lord knows why he did that. That's going to cost him so much time, and for what? Like, we're all on the same strategy, mate. I don't understand what the logic behind that one was at all. That's a horrible strategy call from Mercedes, and once again, they've, you know, they could have even left themselves susceptible to me. I'm not sure what Bottas's pace is looking like relative to mine. It looks like it's fairly even, actually, but, yeah, that's a very strange strategy call from Mercedes. Looks like Leclerc got Stroll in the pits as well, so I guess something terrible must have happened to Lance Stroll in the pits. Maybe he had a slow stop or something. Maybe he was changing a front wing. That's like all I can think of. Because, man, there was really no... Oh. Okay, that shouldn't be too much of a big deal. But there was really no excuse for him to have that. Like, to lose 3 positions in the stop. Nearly spun on that curb. Luckily I managed to catch it in the nick of time. Bro, fucking mind that front wing is a radio message I will hear more than any other throughout this playthrough, no doubt. If these past videos are anything to go by. It doesn't seem to be costing me too dearly. I think any chance I have of catching Bottas is out the window now. Max Verstappen seems to have actually taken the lead of the Grand Prix. I don't doubt that the fans around the grandstand must have been going crazy when that move happened. Jeff giving me another radio message just to remind me that I'm abusing the crap out of the car. I'm trying here, Jeff. If I can catch Bottas, that would be great, but I don't think I really have the pace, unless he is making mistakes. Yeah, that was a real shame with the front wing there. But, you know, surely it'll be okay. I feel like the front wing is a lot easier to damage than any other part of the car, especially in a championship mode playthrough where you don't really have to worry about component damage or anything like that because they get automatically changed. When I'm playing through like career mode, I'm notoriously bad at forgetting to actually switch components, and then I accidentally will run like a really old engine when I go into like race number 8, for example. Because usually you'd switch it after Monaco in this season, I guess. But for me, I always forget, and then I'm running like really old engine components in Baku, which is like quite an important track for getting the power down and having a lot of speed to outdrag your opponents. So hopefully I don't forget to do that in my career mode playthrough that I'm on at the moment. I just finished Monaco. I believe I got my first ever win in Monaco, actually. Or maybe it was P2. I can't quite remember. But, you know, I'm usually notoriously bad at Monaco. You'll see that in a couple videos' time when we come here or come there in this playthrough as well. But Monaco is typically one of my worst circuits just for... Well, you know what I'm like, hitting the walls, hitting other cars, and there's really not much room in Monaco for error. And there's 20 laps as well. So yeah, plenty of opportunity to make mistakes, and quite often I do. So yeah, that could be interesting. Might see our second DNF of the season, possibly.
The gap to the car ahead is 5.1 seconds.
Went a bit wide there. Hopefully it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, Monaco might be the first race where I actually finish outside of the points. If I do something stupid, then well, I guess the first race I finish outside of the points. So yeah, that's the same thing as what I said, but I was just clarifying that I wasn't including Bahrain in that conversation because I didn't like finish the race to begin with. 2 score points. So we've got 4 laps to go here, and
but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
horrible corner there from me. It looks like there's probably 0 chance of catching Valtteri Bottas, so I think P4 is where I shall stay, so long as I don't lose too much time to Sebastian Vettel and come under pressure from him. Real shame about Lance Stroll there, down into P7 now. But you know, P7 is still 6 points, and that's going to be a total of 18 points for the team, which you know, doesn't quite match the 40 that they picked up in Bahrain, but it's still a good amount. Good showing from Ferrari as well. I don't know if they're nerfed in this playthrough or not, or like what the car performance index is like. Because I know that they were originally meant to be quite good, but then obviously when the Ferrari turned out not to be so good, they implemented a nerf on all 3 Ferrari-powered cars. And I think they also slightly nerfed Sebastian Vettel when they realised that he wasn't doing so well this season. But yeah, I don't know what if you guys obviously are keeping up with the Formula 1, which I hope you are, because it's been a really good season. It's been one of the best seasons, probably the best season since I started watching a few years ago. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on the whole intra-teammate battle between Vettel and Leclerc. What your opinion on that is, whether you think Leclerc is consistently just out-driving that car like crazy compared to what it should be doing, or whether Sebastian Vettel is, you know, underperforming compared to what you'd expect from him, whether there's any sort of like preferential team dynamic going on because Sebastian Vettel's leaving at the end of the year, or whether you know, it's probably most likely that it's a mixture of all of those factors, I imagine, but I don't know if there's anything you guys think plays into it more than any other, and that, you know, I'd love to know your thoughts about that in the comments below.
They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
DNF for Gasly there, unfortunately. I don't think he was running inside the points, but you know, obviously you wanna finish the race, and when you're only 2 laps away from the end, it's kind of heartbreaking. But he should still be classified as a result of that because he's only 2 laps away from the end. I think you've got to complete what, 95% race distance. Actually, to be fair, I don't know if that falls within 95% or not. I'm decent at mental maths, but not when I'm driving a Formula 1 car. Yeah, I feel like Verstappen is, unless he makes a monumental cock-up, he should be alright. Given that I've had this front wing damage, I can't help but feel like I might have been able to get Bottas if I hadn't made that mistake, but you know. This is the part of the race where my tyres are starting to go off slightly, or like they're no longer at their optimal sort of speed, and Bottas, because he's on the hards, that he's still going strong. Hamilton and Verstappen briefly switching the lead around. Oh, it looks like there's a big duel going on for the lead there. Hamilton was on the mediums and Verstappen was on the hards, so looks like there might be a shootout in this final lap to see who gets it. Could be some more duels to come there. Who knows? Maybe they'll have a big accident before the line, and Valtteri Bottas will come to inherit the lead right as he crosses the finish line. I'm pretty sure something similar to that happened in a Formula 3 race one time, or some feeder series. I can't remember what it was, where there were two people who were dueling like to the line, and they both crashed at the final corner, and then Dan Ticktum of all people came to win the race, and yeah, no one was happy because it was Dan Ticktum. I think my favourite thing about Dan Ticktum is, on Twitter, whenever Dan Ticktum drives a normal race, everyone's like, wow, I can't believe he's so mature, he's really done a good job this time and kept a cool head, when he's literally just done what every other driver does every single race. But anyway, here we come, cross the line, P4. It was a pretty boring race after the pit stop. You know, I spent all time trying to get past Lance Stroll, and then I got past Lance Stroll, broke my front wing, and it was as simple as that. Roman Grosjean gets driver of the day. Obviously, the sad news about him recently.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Gutting for Max Verstappen there. I bet the Orange Army will be awfully disappointed with that result. He was leading for a large majority of the second phase of that race, and then Hamilton gets him on the final lap, pulls a Lewis Hamilton out of the bag, not his bag, you know what I mean.
Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards. Interesting choice today, I think. There's a few to pick from, but I think I have to give it to Danny Kvyat. He's been in a rock-solid performance today, one that he can be proud of. All respect to the fans' choice, they fully deserve it, but I just feel that my pick had a little more on their plate, so their ability to keep a cool head and come through for such a strong finish made the difference, at least in my opinion.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Interesting there from Anthony Davidson. Apparently he's allowed to pick two drivers of the day, which are neither of the fan choices. Maybe he's making up for Melbourne where he didn't pick one. He's like, today I picked two. I don't know why he picked Hamilton of all people. I mean, he just stayed in the lead. Yeah, I mean, Roman Grosjean made up 4 places from 19th to 15th, so I don't know if he did that impressively. But then again, neither did Daniel Kvyat, so maybe Hamilton was the pick to go for there. We'll have a look at the standings quickly. I maintain 4th, but I'm falling away from the front runners now. Stroll stays in 10th. Could have been an opportunity for him to move ahead of Sainz there if he'd stayed in 4th or 5th. In the constructors' standings, we maintain 3rd. It's very close with Ferrari. I feel like that's going to be an all season long affair between the two of us. Obviously, me dragging my ass to make up for the fact that Lance Stroll not been doing so well this season, but who knows? Maybe he'll turn things up in the races to come. But yeah, that was a really fun race in the first half. I was really struggling to get ahead of Lance Stroll. A bit of a Sunday drive in the second phase of the race. After the pit stops, you know, I came out ahead and I just had to drive the car around, and you know, we were just kind of having a bit of a chat. But that's how some races are, you know. You never watched the Formula 1 race in real life before. Some of them are just like that. You should have a look at Paul Ricard. That's pretty much all I've got to say about this race now. The next one, I believe, is Spain. Awful track for me. I generally never do very well there. I think in my career mode playthrough, I went off the back of 2 podiums in my first season in China and Holland, and then in Spain I got like 8th. Really not a good circuit for me. I don't know. I can't hook things up around Spain the way that I can around some other circuits. I think maybe the AI might be particularly good around there. I don't really know though. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.